PK in the universe, and I am back again with another Evercade video. And today we're here to discuss the N64. More specifically, could theoretically N64 games come to Evercade? I've seen this topic brought up quite a bit in places like Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube comment sections often, but I've never actually seen a video that actually addresses this. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video about it. I'm going to discuss all the things and reasons why I think Evercade games will not have N64 ROMs on them in the future. So here we go. First up, let's talk about the power of Evercade. There's the Evercade, Evercade EXP, and Evercade VS. All three of these systems are not powerful enough really to run N64 games. Yes, especially the original OG Evercade. The OG Evercade is pretty weak, and the VS and EXP are not much better. I mean, they're a little bit better, obviously, you know, and of course they have internet connectivity and stuff, so there's a lot of differences, and you're honestly better off to go with a VS, especially if you're just in for the home console experience. But yeah, I don't think they are strong enough to play them. I mean, there's stronger systems, even, you know, stronger like mini consoles than Evercade that can't play N64 games, or if they can play them, don't play them well. So that's one pretty important reason, is just these consoles are just not powerful enough. That's like probably the biggest, most important reason. The second reason is the controls. I have, of course, an N64 controller right here. I love the N64, but the regular handheld Evercade obviously does not have an analog. And not only that, neither does the EXP. And of course the VS, you know, you can use just about any kind of controller, you know, if it's compatible or whatever. Blaze would actually have to make their own specific controller, even if N64 games could theoretically work on Evercade. So why would we do this? Why would they go to this much trouble, especially when there might be a PS1 version that might work just as well? Who knows? Yeah, it really begs the question. I mean, if Blaze can emulate PS1 games, and are they even doing that well of emulating PS1 games? I mean, Hardcore 4x4, a lot of people had a lot of complaints about that one. I mean, a lot of people have said the Gremlin collection in general is one of the weakest Evercade collections, and it has that particular PS1 game on it. And I've played Hardcore 4x4. That game is not very good. It's a bit rough. I did not like it. And I like racing games. I'm a huge racing game guy, okay? So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing about N64. N64 is one of the early Polygon era, you know, type of systems or whatever, and it's extremely hard to emulate. It's hard to emulate even on more powerful emulation devices. So the idea that we would all of a sudden get N64 games on an Evercade cart, pretty unrealistic, you know. And if there's a PS1 version of it, again, why wouldn't we just put it down, use the PS1 version? There are some reasons, though. There are some reasons. One of the most common examples is Glover. Glover, a game owned by Pico Interactive. There is an N64 version, and the N64 version back in the day was highly praised. It was getting like 8s and 9s, you know, from reviewers. Whereas the PS1 version was getting like 2s and 3s. It was critically panned. It's a bad version. Why would we as consumers want that version of the game? I'd rather not have that game at all than have the PS1 version. You know, and Pico Interactive, of course, makes the Pico Interactive Collection 1 and 2. Pico 1 is gone legacy. That's going to be a legacy cart now. They're not going to produce anymore because they've run out of the license. So whatever stock they have, they're selling off. I'd say it's pretty likely that Pico 2 might go the same route. I want to say someone told me, don't quote me on this, don't say this is gospel or anything, but somebody told me like they lost the license to one of that Hoops game, I guess, on there or something, so maybe that one will go legacy next. I don't know. They made it later than the first one, so we obviously have some time before we find out about that. So it makes me wonder, like, what is Pico Interactive's relationship with Blaze? Are they on shaky ground, you know, with these, you know, licenses expiring? Who knows? So, yeah, why would they do that? Plus, Pico Interactive is releasing the Glover game on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, I think Switch as well, maybe. I don't know. It's already on Steam. They re-released it last year, and GOG as well. So that really begs the question, like, why would they put it on Evercade? I mean, and is it really worth the effort and trouble to figure out how to get that to play on Evercade? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. The other thing too is like, why would you buy just that for that game? I mean, what other games would be even on there? I don't know. Would 40 Winks be on there? I'm not sure. And finally, I think just the most obvious reason why an N64 collection or an N64 game will never come to Evercade. N64 is trash, guys. Let's just be honest. And I say that, guys, as somebody who has a Jungle Green N64, I got a Watermelon N64, I got 6 N64 controllers, only 2 of them are super pads. I got a pretty decent, respectable library of N64 games. But the thing is, what I love most about N64 is the first-party games and the games from Rare. That's really about it. In the grand scheme of things, those are the best games on the N64. 25% of all N64 games are sports games. 25%. And there were only like 300 produced. So that's a lot. Not only that, there was a lot of games that were huge cash grabs or were poorly designed. And, you know, the N64 didn't sell well for a reason. They sold 30 million units, whereas PlayStation sold a freaking 100 million units. Okay? And there's a reason, is because it was hard to make games for the N64. It's hard to emulate it. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, the N64 is not very good. I mean, I love the N64. It's a system I'm incredibly nostalgic for, and I love so many of the games. There's so many games that I really enjoy, but most of them are first-party games. Yeah, there's something like Quest 64, you know, is an outlier, and the best-selling N64 third-party title is WCW NW Revenge. But is that game ever coming? Heck no, that game's way too old. Too many licenses involved. No, that'll never happen. There's so many games that were licensed or whatever that are on N64. It's just really freaking unlikely we will ever see an N64 collection or N64 games ever come to Evercade. I'm sorry, but Evercade has a hard enough time emulating PS1 games, so N64, I'm sorry, is way out of the question. I could see if maybe games were like, you know, I mentioned in the past too, I thought maybe they could theoretically emulate some PSP games, but only if they were games that were like originally like mobile ports or something, you know, something just really low and not demanding at all. So I don't think there's a lot of N64 games that aren't not demanding. And not only that, you know, even if they could get them, they're probably not even good. It's just really unlikely. We're obviously never getting first party Nintendo games because Nintendo owns them. We're not going to get Rare games because Xbox owns them, Microsoft, I mean. So what's the point? There's just no point in having N64 games on Evercade. It's just not gonna happen. I'm sorry, but that's just reality. That's my thoughts anyways. What are your guys' thoughts? I mean, what's your favorite N64 game? Comment below. Love to hear what you have to say. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and stay awesome in this universe. Thanks. Bye.